The reptilian queen, Viscara the Eternal, sat upon her obsidian throne, her emerald scales shimmering under the harsh red glow of the war chamber. Her golden eyes narrowed as she gazed down at her assembled generals, a clawed finger tapping impatiently on the armrest. For months, her grand march into human space had been stalled, not by an armada, not by planetary defenses, but by a single human vessel. The Ghost, her advisors called it, a light scout vessel barely large enough to qualify as a warship, yet it had become the terror of her invasion force. It struck supply lines, disabled communication relays, and always vanished before her warships could respond. Her forked tongue flicked out in irritation. Who among you will explain why a single outdated human craft continues to make fools of my fleet? Silence. The generals, seasoned veterans of 1,000 conquests, shifted uncomfortably. None dared speak. Pathetic, she hissed. Perhaps I should simply execute the lot of you and start fresh. There is something very familiar about this ghost ship. The queen began to think to herself, her mind wandered, to stories from her father, of a similar struggle he had against a single human ship. But that was over 70,000 years ago. Before she could debate the matter in her mind any further, she was interrupted. A younger general, scales still bright with youth, swallowed hard and stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing deeply, "I may have a solution." Queen Viscara arched a brow ridge. "Speak, quickly." "We have captured several human prisoners who, under persuasion, revealed a secret refueling outpost used by this ghost." The general's tail twitched nervously. "We could use this information to set a trap, send a distress signal from the outpost, lie in wait with cloaked ships, and strike when they arrive." Viscara tapped a claw against her jaw. "Sounds average at best. If this plan fails, General, you will personally experience my disappointment." The young general bowed lower. "I accept, my queen." Commander Elias Adams leaned back in his seat, sipping the last of his synthetic coffee as he watched the wreckage of a reptilian supply freighter drift through the void. "Nice shot, Collins," he called over his shoulder. "Just doing my job, sir," his weapons officer responded with a grin. Adams turned back to his helm officer. "All right, Marlowe, let's get moving before their buddies show up." "Aye, sir. Engaging stealth systems." The USS Phantom, better known as the Ghost to their reptilian adversaries, was a relic of an older era, light, fast, and equipped with outdated human technology that modern reptilian sensors struggled to track. It was like trying to find a shadow in deep space. "Captain," came the voice of their comms officer, Ensign Patel. "We just picked up a distress signal from Outpost Theta 9. Says they're under attack." Adams frowned. Theta 9 was an old, barely manned outpost used only for emergency refueling. If it had fallen into enemy hands, that could be a problem. But something about the timing felt off. "Too convenient," Collins muttered. "Agreed," Adams said. "Marlowe, set course, but stay on high alert. If this is a trap, let's make them regret it." The reptilian fleet lay in wait, cloaked and positioned in a crescent formation, prepared to spring on the Ghost the moment it arrived. General Krazak watched from the bridge of his heavy cruiser, eager to crush the human menace once and for all. Then, a shimmer in space. "They're here," a lieutenant barked. "The Ghost just exited hyperspace." "All ships, decloak and fire," Krazak roared. The trap was set. But then, something happened that Krazak had not anticipated. The human vessel rolled. Not a simple maneuver. This was something absurd. The USS Phantom emerged from hyperspace at an angle, flipped upside down, and slid sideways like a skipping stone, avoiding the kill box entirely. "What?" Krazak bellowed. They're out of the firing zone," his officer stammered. Adams smirked as his ship weaved through the confused reptilian ships. Nice try, lizards. Patel, get a fix on their flagship. Target acquired. Collins, disable their shields. A precisely aimed ion burst struck Krazak's ship, shorting out its shields. Now for the fun part, Adams muttered. Tractor beam, full power. The USS Phantom latched onto the disabled flagship and yanked it straight into the path of an oncoming meteorite. Release. Krazak barely had time to process what was happening before his ship, stripped of its defenses, collided with the rock. A bright explosion filled the void. The remaining reptilian ships, panicked and leaderless, fled. Back in her throne room, Queen Viscera's claws carved deep gouges into her stone armrest. Her generals knelt before her, trembling. What happened? One general hesitated before speaking. Your Majesty, the humans, their commander. Viscera loomed over him. Spit it out. The general took a deep breath and said the only thing that made sense. Humanity? Fuck yeah. The Queen's eyes flared with fury. The ghost still haunted her fleet, and she would not rest until it was destroyed. Commander Adams, however, was already planning his next strike. This time he would have to start taking back human space from the reptilians.